delving into the grammar and vocabulary, let's start this lesson by some interesting fact. First of all, Bahasa is spoken by more than 200 million people. Imagine that. If you just simply know how to say hi or hello in Bahasa, you would be able to say hi to more than 200 million people. And I think you have heard about Bali. Bali is one part of Indonesia, and Indonesia also have 17,508 islands. So it means that if you go to Indonesia and travel Indonesia and go to Bali, you would be able to enjoy your vacation much more because now you can speak the local language, right? So those are some interesting facts about Bahasa, and now let's get started. In this lesson, you will first of all learn about formal and informal Bahasa. We will tell you what is formal Bahasa and what is informal Bahasa. And after that, we will learn some very basic grammar, and then we will learn some vocabulary, and also we will learn some sample sentences and create your very first sentences in Bahasa so you can, practice your Bahasa right away. Okay, so as I mentioned previously, let's start by explaining and telling you what is the difference between formal and informal Bahasa. So basically there are two types of Bahasa, formal and informal Bahasa. Formal Bahasa are Bahasa that is used for formal occasions. For example, business meeting, lecture, if you go to university in Indonesia or something like that, or if you meet a person for the very first time, you will usually need formal Bahasa, and you would usually use formal Bahasa. And then number two, we have informal Bahasa. This is a form of Bahasa that is usually used for like close friends or your family members, or people or persons that you already know for a long time. And in these lessons and some future lessons, you will be introduced with formal Bahasa first, because you cannot go wrong usually with formal Bahasa, and usually you will use your Bahasa with people that you just know, right, to introduce yourself and stuff like that. And therefore it is much better if you know formal Bahasa first. But of course, in the future, you will learn informal Bahasa and talk more casually. So now let's just start this lesson by learning some grammar. As you know, grammar is the most important thing, very basic. It is important for you to understand very basic grammar of any language that you are learning. And today we will be learning subject pronouns. Okay, the subject pronoun of Bahasa, it is quite simple. Like number one is, how do you say I? I is saya. Okay, I is saya. So it is not very complicated. So saya, I. And then how do you say you? You is kamu. So ka and mu. So you have kamu. And then how do you say they? They is mereka. Okay, try to always say it after me. Okay, repeat after me so that you also learn how to say the word correctly. So again, how do you say they? They is mereka. Mereka. Now next, how do you say kami? Sorry, how do you say we? How do you say we? We is kami. Kami. Okay, how do you say she or he? Now this is something interesting, because in Bahasa, there is no she and there is no he. You just simply say the same word, which is dia. Again, dia. Okay, and then how do you say it or that? It is itu. Again, itu. So those are the most basic grammar that you will learn today, and those are the subject pronouns in Bahasa. So now let's try to quiz yourself. So try not to look to the video if you are watching this on YouTube, or just simply test yourself. Okay, I will say the English subject pronouns and try to answer the question using the Bahasa version. Number one, how do you say I? 1, 2, 3. Saya. How do you say they? Mereka. How do you say she or he? 1, 2, 3. It's dia. Good. So try to repeat that over and over again until you master the subject pronouns in Bahasa. Okay? So yeah, after we have now learned about some grammar, now it's time for us to learn a little bit about vocabulary. So now let's learn about vocabulary or kosakata in Bahasa Indonesia. You do not need to memorize kosakata for now because it is a bit advanced. But for now, we will learn 4 basics and the expression that we have learned just now. So we will learn, at this point, we will learn 3 sample sentences. Number 1 is kemarin saya memasak. Kemarin, do you still remember how do you say kemarin? Kemarin is yesterday, right? So that's how you say yesterday in Bahasa. It's kemarin. Okay, saya is, of course, you already know this. You already learned this from your first lesson, which is I, right? Memasak is cook. All right. So kemarin saya memasak, in English it means yesterday I cooked. You see here now again, as I mentioned previously, at the basic level, we don't have tenses in English. So the same thing. So if you want to say let's say I cook every day, it would be just saya masak setiap hari. You do not know what setiap hari means, but basically if you want to know, it means stay the same. No changes, no conjugation, no nothing. So you just use the adverb of time. So kemarin saya masak mean yesterday I cook. Of course, in English you need to put extra ed after the word cook, right? But in Indonesian, you do not conjugate the word or the verb at all. So it stays the same. Kemarin saya masak, yesterday I cook, and tomorrow I will cook. You will need to put some word, which translate into will, and that is something that we will learn soon. But for now, make sure you understand what kemarin saya memasak means. Okay, so kemarin, yesterday, saya masak, I cook. And again, to re-emphasize it, we don't have tenses at the basic level. So saya memasak stay the same whether it is in past, in the present, in the future. There are some changes. Number 2 is hari ini mereka makan. Hari ini is today, of course, right? Hari ini, and mereka is they, and makan is eat. So today they eat. Hari ini mereka makan. That's the natural speed. The slow speed would be hari ini mereka makan. Okay. Number 3 is dia akan menonton besok. Dia, you already notice it means she or he, right? So dia, she or he, akan. Nah, this is something that I talked about just now. This is how you say will. Okay, this is how you say will in Bahasa. Of course, cover this in more detail, but for now, just try to memorize that will is akan in Bahasa. Will is akan. Akan. So akan. So she will, dia akan. I will, saya akan. They will, mereka akan. You will, kamu akan. Okay, so dia akan menonton. She or he will watch, right? Menonton means watch. What is besok? Besok is tomorrow. So dia akan menonton besok mean he or she will watch tomorrow. Yeah, so of course, by knowing these sample sentences, now you can create your own sentences and you can practice combining the words that you already learned, and also by using and following the rules of grammar that you have learned. So now it's time for us to test yourself. So, how do you say yesterday she wrote? Yesterday is, of course, it is kemarin, right? And she is dia, he also dia, and wrote is menulis. Of course, I hope you remember that you do not need to conjugate the verb past tense or intense. The verbs stay the same. So she wrote, kemudian blah blah blah. Okay. So for number 2 and number 3, try to do it by yourself. Based upon what you have learned, and try to write down the answer in the comment section if you are watching this on YouTube. So if you have mistakes, we will be able to see it and we will be able to correct it. And also, if you have any questions about Bahasa, feel free to ask in the comments below, or you can email us also to bahasalittleproject@gmail.com. Or you can follow us on Instagram at Bahasa Little Project for additional lessons. You can practice your Bahasa on our Facebook group. You can find our podcast on Spotify. I hope it is already now on Google Podcasts. And also you can support us on patreon.com/Bahasa Little Project to get exclusive contents and to join our exclusive Telegram group, in which you would be able to ask me and practice with me if you have any questions. So thank you for learning with us. So this is your level 1 lesson 2. I hope you have learned something, and see you next time. We will learn much more at level 1 lesson 3. Bye. Dadah. Hey, welcome to Bahasa Little Project, and this is level 1 lesson 3. So far you have learned some course from previous level 1 lesson 1 and level lesson 2. I hope that you practice your Bahasa and have used it in your daily life, so that you are getting more and more comfortable using your new language. So for this lesson, we will learn some more grammar and we will learn some more vocabulary to keep improving the level of your Bahasa, and also to keep making your sentences longer and also more complicated. If you are ready, let's get started. Number 1, we learn about adverb of place. Last time in the level 1 lesson 2, we learned about adverb of time, right? And this time we learn about adverb of place. Number 1 is how to say at. In Bahasa, it is di. It is also as simple as these sample sentences are quite easy. So kemarin is of course yesterday, mereka is they, tidak is a grammar word that we have learned just now, which mean tidak, which mean no, right? Did not here